Welcome everybody to another Univirtual experience in collaboration with the Virtual World Society and Educators in VR. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm really excited to hear and experience the session that our host Caitlin Krause has ready for us. And before we do that, I just want to give a big shout out to our Infinity sponsors, HP, to our Galaxy sponsors, Engage here, this platform, Avantis Education, and then we have several stellar sponsors, including Waking Dream, LBX Immersive, Grove XR, the VR Lady, Donna McTaggart, who is our event director for Educators in VR and the Univirtual experience, to LearnBright, to videographers, to Tony Cube Studios, and also to Carlos Austin and his team of videographers today. Especially thank you, Carlos, for being available. And with that, for me, I'm excited. Caitlin, I'm going to hand straight over to you and take it away.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and thanks so much to everyone for being here together in this space. I've said many times, coming to this particular environment is like going on vacation. So just consider this hour a vacation for your senses, a time to stretch, be together, come as you are. And it's my unique privilege to be able to be here and talk about wonder, because I hold wonder dearly in my heart, and part of the experiences in VR that I think bring wonder to new levels really let us connect with our humanity, which might seem ironic because here we are in a device, but I do feel like it brings us really closely connected with ourselves. So just to pace this journey, today we'll be talking a little bit about the context of wonder and specifically about design, like how to go about designing and prioritizing wonder and awe and joy. And then we'll go into some experiences firsthand to get to apply it. And I'm really, really grateful. You might see this empty seat right here. I'm grateful that we have some people coming and already in the space that are going to be adding some context and stories from their own life about the way that they design and use wonder and awe to animate. So this is an experience design session. Just want to let you know that if you have any questions, this could be an appetizer. If you want to reach out to me, that is my website. That's also my Twitter handle. And I'm going to just show a few pieces first to put some context into this wonder journey. And along the way, as we talk, just, use your own experiences as a touchstone, because that's definitely my modus. So really this whole idea of wisdom beginning in wonder started off my journey into exploring wonder and thinking about wonder as fuel for VR experience design. And as I was really thinking about that wisdom, I'm somebody who loves to connect. And part of that is connecting with other people. Like I look around the room and see a lot of faces and names that are friendships and collaboration. It's just people who have been part of amazing stories. And that connection can also be inside of us. So that connection more deeply with ourselves internally, wonder fuels that deeper connection. And along the way, certainly, if we're thinking about this place and time right now, we are living in a world of disconnection in a lot of ways. So for me, being an experience designer and using a lot of wonder is also meeting needs where they're at in the world. There's a quote by Frederick Buechner that says, "My passion lies in meeting the world's deep need with my deep love." So I'm thinking a lot in life about how I can connect what I'm passionate about with places that need it in the world. And I'm sure you are too. So I came to this experience design and this mission to investigate wonder in different ways through looking at that meaningful connection and thinking about ways to empower humanity. So that's a little context for guiding experiences in XR through wonder. And you might notice maybe I don't even need slides. I mean, this whole background is background of clouds, but this is a photograph I took of the clouds because I'm always dreaming and wondering and letting that be a guide. So here it is speaking to a group of people who love virtual reality. And through a lot of my research, virtual reality really is different. I mean, the way that it is connected to our human body and the way that our senses take in a VR experience is very visceral. So I'm always thinking about that, like the way that VR puts us in a position to really push boundaries and to see beyond ourselves. So in many experiences, and some of them you're about to have together in this session, it might be possible to feel like we're not just in nature, like let's get away to nature. We are a part of nature. Nature is in us. And so virtual reality can bring us even closer to that connection, and to really a sense of possibility. So about a year and a half ago, I started researching the brain, particularly with wonder and creativity and human imagination, thinking about the nature of collaboration and how in virtual reality there are different experiences that take us into positions where we're able to connect in those amazing ways. So I started writing this book called Designing Wonder. And then really over the course of 2020, this book became animated by the people that I met, the stories that they told, the hero's journey, and all of the influences that brought the nature of wonder and awe into connection with experience design and virtual reality. So this is the book that really took experience design to new levels, because I thought there are all of these texts out there talking about the headsets and the hardware, and people get caught up sometimes on, which things to make it possible, and then those things change, right? And we're on this kind of highway of feeling like we need to stay caught up. And the emotional experience design was something that I wanted to focus on and really couple that, really complement a lot of the technology guides with guides about experience design, human-driven. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how to design and keep wonder and awe at the forefront. It's my belief that that's what separates us a little bit from artificial intelligence. Like, we can couple a lot with robots and with AI systems, but it's the creativity, the ingenuity, the human sense of awe and wonder that really is the unique human skill set. So, how can we really thrive with that sense of wonder and keep ourselves connected and keep a sense of humor along the way too, right? Because I'm even looking around right now, and we thrive with surprise, we thrive with delight, and we thrive with wonder. So we're going to hear from more people in a moment about that. Just stepping back, as Tom knows, who's right across from me right now, there are 5 facets of wonder that are a part of this book and a part of my experience design. And I'm sure there are more. These are 5 that I wanted to start with investigation-wise. And they involve an intentional attention. So that's kind of like mindfulness, like placing your attention either on a particular thing, a particular thought. It could be the breath, and suddenly we begin to wonder in a different way about it. We get curious. I might even be curious right now in this environment, like, oh, how does that work? Or how did that get made that way? Little kids, they thrive in wonder, this kind of investigation of placing your attention on something and trying to puzzle it out. The second facet of wonder is wondering beyond ourselves. Like, I begin to wonder from my perspective, and then sometimes I might wonder, well, what's Keely feeling right now? And, where's she coming from? This is the empathetic kind of wondering. I wonder how somebody else's mindset might bring a different facet to an experience I'm looking at. Surfing wonder is kind of like that dream state of following the waves of your thoughts. Like, how many people have fallen into, say, a state of flow or the zone where you feel like your thoughts are in flow with what you're doing, and you're just able to ride that wave without deconstructing it too much. This is where some people have these amazing creative breakthroughs because they're not holding too tightly onto an outcome. So that would be surfing wonder is what I call that. And there are different ways to encourage that process of surfing wonder in our lives. The fourth capacity, the facet of wonder, would be the overview effect. So this astronauts will say they experience it, and we're going to have a taste of it as well today. But this feeling of being both deeply within ourselves and also beyond ourselves. And the last, and I guess with the overview effect, I should mention that notion of a global oneness. You kind of look at the Earth from, say, a spatial view and start to stretch out, and you feel that. Maybe Captain Neil feels that when he's flying, but you get this feeling of wow, not only is the Earth small, but it's very vast. And so are we, and we're all connected, and we have a feeling kind of beyond ourselves. And then the last facet of wonder that I was looking at is the wonder of the Gestalt. And this is a German word, different from Gestalt theory. The whole notion of Gestalt is that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And some scenes are so familiar. Sometimes we drop into a state of wonder and we can't exactly tell why, but it's because all those puzzle pieces are kind of in place and working in synchronicity. And, suddenly we feel belonging, we feel recognized. That's an amazing place to be. So I will just pause there. You can, there's more detail about that are part of designing wonder, but just to give it that kind of context, that's what I'm talking about when I say wonder. So many different facets working together. That idea that we contain multitudes. That's a quote from Walt Whitman, that you might feel maybe limited by one label or one role that you've been playing, and suddenly adding wonder can be very liberating, because you don't have to be contained or confined to that one expectation. And in addition, our communities can be just as diverse when we start to see that through having an open mindset and some wonder, we can take that multiplicity and see our diversity as a strength. Jumping into different people's perspectives and not holding so tightly. So I've been using a lot of different wonder for social and emotional learning, for hero's journey exercises, really crossing into unknown spaces without fear, with a sense of curiosity that replaces it. So today we might even model, as we go into some of the experiences with wonder, how they map like the hero's journey. And this kind of brings me to a framework. As I was writing the book, I came across online this spiral that a woman named Thea Cook had adapted from the original hero's journey. And certainly, people who are fans of hero's journey, throughout the ages, we know it's kind of this model for going into the unknown and crossing thresholds. And I thought, wow, this is kind of timeless. And the spiral mapping means that we might end up on the other side of going through a hero's journey process and come out maybe with a greater awareness than we did when we started. And that's how I feel every time I go into a VR experience. I feel like I cross a threshold into VR with curiosity. I've set my expectations up front. That's kind of the scuba model that I came up with. And then underneath the experience, you have this kind of, it's a deeper feeling of connection for sure. And it's an understanding and perhaps just sort of a loss of that inhibition. And then as you come back to the quote unquote ordinary world, we look to apply some of what we've learned and shared to transform our lives. So to me, there's not a strict lineation between in real world and in VR. In VR is very real to me. And it's this idea of the metaverse also informing our ordinary quote unquote world and our experiences with each other. So more about that scuba methodology. I just keep building and exploring with these experiences, but definitely hero's journey is part of my my mantra, that it's not just about us being alone. It's about us playing mentors and helpers to each other. And at times when we feel like we can't do something, suddenly someone steps in and says, hey, here's this magic elixir. You can do it. And, let me help. And, that's the community that we find ourselves in these days. So this is the theme for today. Just talking about that design mindset, talking about how wonder informs our experience, and then using it to really play around with how we feel and experiences as we start to break some boundaries and go into any space, any place. Really, you can build in almost any environment with this mindset. It becomes something very transformative. These are some highlights. This is 1 year ago at the Educators in VR conference, just making ideas into more of a memory palace when I was giving a talk. So I'm really celebrating that we've had so many amazing experiences in VR right now. Roxanne is here in the room, and this was us doing a mirroring exercise together. So here, there are ways that you can take some of these wonder experiences more deeply, whether it's in a training, whether it's in an experience that you have that you want to bring to other people. I love to support that. I love to teach designers of VR experiences. I also love to lead a lot of experiences that have to do with collective collaboration and transformation. And I just think there's so much possible that right now feels like we're at the threshold of a new level of really integrating a lot of this meaningful intention into the experiences that we design. So this is the context for today. And just thank you for being here. I wanted to invite a few voices who have used wonder in different ways to share your story, because this is a bit of my background and what motivates me. And as people want to share, this is what the chair is for beside me. And we can certainly ask questions. I can talk about that. And then we're going to go into some experiences from here. So do I have someone from the audience, I think, that would like to share a story, perhaps a application of wonder, something that you've been applying and working on? I know I have some special guests who have already said that they would love to share. So I'm just gonna bring people up to this quote unquote hot seat. Thank you. Yeah, I know exactly. This is perhaps intimidating, but it's like a creative comfort crushing. So let's see. Keely, what do you think? Keely, would you like to step up beside me and take the chair and tell us?
Definitely.
That would be great. Yeah, I'd love to hear how wonder animates your life and your work.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Caitlin, and thank you for having me, and thank you, everybody, for connecting and volunteering your time to be with us in this shared space. I really connected with what you were saying, Caitlin, about like relationships and expectations. And I want to branch off of that because that's how my designing with virtual worlds and VR applications really took place and kind of blossomed from. So I've created VR applications during my research years as my graduate studies, and I'm going to do more in my doctoral. Yay! Really excited about that. But I've been having a lot of fun creating actually alt-space worlds and creating that as a space for people to connect. And that kind of came out from actually fighting and challenging expectations that I was facing in the real world and in the professional world. Like I know a lot of people have the imposter syndrome and feel like you don't belong, or the expectation that you should act this way or speak this way or look this way, especially in certain fields. And that's what would happen to me, is like these expectations of you should do this, you should be like that. And that really limits for me the state of wonder. And that was really stressful and difficult for my health and my mental health. And so I just stopped and started going, why not? Like, why not? Why do I have to go to these challenges, and why do I have to face them? And I thought, well, in virtual reality, I shouldn't have to, right? In reality, there's unfortunately these expectations, but in virtual reality, why? Why do we have them? So with that in mind, I create spaces that I hope people can go to and feel comfortable and connect and share their experiences. So yeah, that's that's kind of like the short blurb of how I kind of go about wonder is challenging myself and constantly saying, why do I have these expectations? And I know, Daniel, wherever you might be, I really connected with you when you say that the sky is no longer the limit, because that's what people would always say is, oh, there's a limit and there's a glass ceiling. And I'm like, let's break through it and continue and more, because, why not? Like if we want to be in the sky, why not? Like, if I want to be, I know in other applications, we can be other models than just our humanoid looking selves. Like we could be a hot dog. Why not? Yep. And I hope that these experiences we have in VR, we can bring it into reality and mix them, because I agree with you, Caitlin, that like, I'm having a difficult time separating virtual reality and reality sometimes, and people ask me that, and I'm like, it's all reality, it's all real, these are all experiences, so we should eliminate these expectations.
Yeah. Well, and our time is real, and our body experiences it as very real. So I think it is substantiated. So I think you've hit on so many amazing points right here. And I was going to close with a quote by John O'Donohue, but you made me think of it right now. So I want to share it with you in mind and your words of wisdom. John O'Donohue, the Irish poet, has a quote that says, "One of the sad things today is that so many people are frightened by the wonder of their own presence. They are dying to tie themselves into a system, a role, or to an image, or to a predetermined identity that other people have actually settled on for them. This identity may be totally at variance with the wild energy that is rising inside of our soul. Many of us get very afraid, and we eventually compromise. We settle for something that is safe, rather than engaging with the danger and the wildness that is in our own hearts."
It's beautiful.
So, yeah. I love John O'Donohue, and I just feel like that wild energy in our hearts, we let it out in VR. You let it out fiercely, and I feel that. So just thank you for sharing that and just letting people hear that from you. And we have another person, Roxanne, that wanted to also share. So I'm just going to tell Keely, thank you so much.
Can I just say, Keely, if I'm not mistaken, one of the worlds you've built and shared with us, wasn't it the opening world in Altspace that you contributed?
Yes, it was. It was that Galaxy Stadium one. I built it in like one day.
There you go.
Yeah, in one day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I do have a Patreon if people feel like supporting. It's Sewing Reality, but I'll get into that later. Wow. But yeah, I built that world because I was told we needed to be Galaxy and Wonder, and I'm like, why not be on an asteroid? Why not be in space?
Yeah, why not?
Thank you for that.
Why not? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Keely, that's amazing. Wow, talk about raising the roof. The sky is no longer the limit. I'm floored. So we have Roxanne, who is sharing just a brief bit. And Roxanne, I'm not sure if you can reseat yourself, but if you can't, if you want to join the hot seat, that's fine. Or if you're comfortable there, come as you are. Just if you want to unmute yourself and just share a quick.
Roxanne, if you push your thumbstick, there you go.
Awesome, wonderful.
And then I can help you sit if you want. Just
you got it.
Yeah. There you go.
And tell you love the space is so Roxanne's been part of experiences. I've been hosting mindfulness experiences and running workshops for the past 2 years in VR, and I think Roxanne and I met at the very beginning of that process. And yeah, I know one of your special kind of touchstones is the ocean, and here we have ocean right behind us. Let's see if I can unmute you. If you can unmute yourself, feel free. I'm going to try helping out.
Caitlin, do you want to bring the ocean in around? If you finished your slides, we can bring the ocean in.
That is perfect.
Okay.
We can bring the ocean in.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I'm so grateful to be here, Caitlin, and it's because of you. I think I might be standing. Sorry, I might be in the standing and sitting mode for you. I'll entertain you. I could dance
We'll stand side by side. I love it. It's perfect.
I'm grateful for you because of Caitlin. I became interested and really immersing myself in VR, and throughout many of your experiences of wonder and awe, I've been with you as a participant and a learning experience designer as well. And you inspired me so much that I created a mindfulness experience in the immersive research learning conference. I'm one of the tours, and I wrote it, and it's called Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So this is an immersive experience in mindfulness and really engaging the participants, you, anyone who wants to drop into this mindfulness experience and embrace a transformation of the real world with the virtual world and experiencing nature and really connecting and making ourselves expand and feeling that spaciousness of being in VR along at the same time, simultaneously as being in the real world, and feeling those connections can transform us from this VR experience as we go back into our real bodies and understand that we need to cultivate our responsibilities in the real world for our environment, our climate problems, our climate challenges that exist. But also we have to cultivate this in our virtual worlds too. We cannot neglect that when we're in virtual worlds. I'm thinking of the wonder part of being in a virtual world as hearing whispers. And whispers meaning that we can wonder, we can have our sense of responsibility of being whole with our person and our being in the virtual world. But we need to transform and transcend that into both worlds so our environments can be protected. We can feel that we're wise, that we have inspiration, and I can think of believing in the science that we've come so far, and the perseverance, the passion that we all have for being here, and the responsibilities, and all of that should spell out whispers. Were you following me? I think I missed a letter in there. And their passion and the relationality that we have, and being present right here.
Sure.
Just
how many times?
The space, just being in this space right here, embodying. My right control battery is low. Okay, so I just noticed that my right hand may malfunction, but that's okay. The left hand's working.
That's all we need.
Okay.
It's like we're here and right now, just that reminder. Sometimes I remind myself, like, this is the time we have. Like, what time is it?
We're in the present moment.
Now. Where are we?
In this present moment, I am experiencing mindfulness, being mindful of where you are, just taking that pause and taking it all in. It's an awesome, and that's the part of the awe. We lose that when sometimes we grow up.
I could not echo this back more, Roxanne, and I feel excited about this, bringing people's awareness and their mission to also serve communities, serve environmental missions in different ways. VR can animate that and bring people back in closer connection with themselves and each other. So I'm going to say thank you. And with this community, as follow-up resources, I can also share links so you can follow different people's activities. So I can follow up after that so that everyone can stay connected. Before we move on to the experiential part, do we have anyone else who just wants to chime in and say something before we transition? Because we are in the hero's journey. We're probably in the S phase of our scuba model today, where we're setting our intentions, setting a little bit of context before we cross into a space of experience. Any other words? Oh, Tom Furness. Hello. Hello there. Oh my gosh. So would you like to take a seat beside here, like by the fire, or would you like to sit where you are and just unmute yourself or magically disappear? Oh, there you are. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. I will reseat myself as well. Thanks, Tom. do you want to say a few words? I think you might be able to unmute yourself on your wrist. You can move your index finger from your right. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, you're good now. We can hear you, Tom.
Okay, thanks. Wonderful to be here by the seaside. Caitlin, with you again. We were here yesterday, as I recall.
I know.
It never doesn't change.
So great.
It's wonderful. You know, one of the things that I feel strongly about it, and it's back to what Keely was talking about, this whole thing that we all feel that we're imposters, that do we deserve this? Do we deserve this opportunity to be doing what we're doing today and share with the space with wonderful people? And one of the things that I've come to realize, and I think this needs to apply to all of us, we are enough. You are enough. You are enough. And that this feeling that we have to have, that we need to keep up, that we need to, you know, keep expanding and keep applying and try to understand everything we can understand. You know, I think we need to relax a little bit and just enjoy the ride. It's going to be okay. We're going to learn, and we're going to be able to share, and we're going to be able to do this together. And yes, we're all on a journey, all of us on a hero's journey, and we're here to take that journey and to learn how to love and learn how to be kind and to help each other along our respective journeys. But just remember, just this parting shot, and Caitlin, thank you for this journey you've taken me on, and with designing wonder and discovering wonder. But you are enough. I am enough. So that's all I have.
That's a yes and. I love that. Yeah, thank you for being on and in the journey, Tom. And you, of course, there are many quotes, but you make me think of the second quote for our journey today. If John, he says, "It's a strange and wonderful fact to be here, walking around in a body, to have a whole world within you, and a world at your fingertips outside of you. It's an immense privilege, and it's incredible that humans manage to forget the miracle of being here." Rilke said, "Being here is so much, and it's uncanny how social reality can numb us so that the mystical wonder of our own lives goes totally unnoticed. We are here. We are wildly and dangerously whole and free." Yeah, we are enough. That's so amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to be moving worlds in a moment. And as we do, that idea of being whole, being free, it means that whatever you experience is totally open and wonderful. And if you haven't world jumped a lot and engaged, it just throw your hands around in the air so I can see you. Anytime in Engage, if you feel like the movement is too much, you can do things like either close your eyes or you can lift your headset a little bit. I say that because we've reached, we're over the 30-minute mark. So maybe different bodies feel things in different ways. You can also move around when we get to this new environment using your teleport. And that's a way on your right controller, that button, that lets you move a little more smoothly than using a joystick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move us to a wonder-filled environment where we have an experience with wonder. I'll lead us through it, and you're going to be on mute so that you will just be experiencing it in your body and hearing my voice as a guide. So just know that if the screen goes dark for a moment, it's going to go light in a new environment. Okay? And it might be a nice time to just set an intention for that experience as you're about to cross the thresholds. Daniel, are we good to make a jump?
Yep, ready when you are. Remind me where we're going, Caitlin?
We are going to a garden.
Lovely. Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
Lovely. You want me to bring some music up?
Let me see. I'm just
Sure.
loading our snapshot so that we're
Lovely.
set. Good. Okay. I think maybe not right away.
Sure.
Unless you have ambient music that's different from my music.
You let me know when you're ready. You let me know.
Okay. I'll try it myself, and if I need help, you'll hear me say pineapple.
Okay.
Magically. All right. So you're now in a very different kind of space. You have been transported to this magical wonderland delight space. And we're going to do a different type of meditation here right now. So what I would like to do is just invite you to place yourself in this environment. Feel free to explore. So right now you can hear my voice, and you might want to explore, say, the feeling of going into the pond and seeing the carp. Or you might look around and notice the light in a different way, and you want to just dwell in appreciating that light. The word appreciation comes from to see. So just kind of let your senses drop in, let yourself drop into the space, and just practice with wonder, maybe having a childlike appreciation for something without trying to deconstruct it. Like so often, if we are, say, VR creators, we might get into a space and try to figure out how it's built or figure out some of the process underneath it. But let's just take a moment to let our senses drop into the experience. And maybe at the same time, you want to go through your senses and just appreciate, say, the sights around you, the sounds around you. Yeah, just take a moment to take a deep breath in. Let the air fill your lungs. And as you exhale, just invite your body to show up with yourself in a deeper sense of presence. Just feeling a creative freedom. You could move or be still. Right now, as you're feeling these senses, just letting yourself show up in this environment, feeling it more deeply. And as I'm talking us through, usually what I do when I'm trying to invite my senses to show up more deeply is I start to connect a little bit more deeply with my feet. So right now, as I'm leading the experience here for you, feel free to follow my voice or just let it be music in the background soundtrack. I'm tuning into the way my feet feel. And if you were sitting down, you might want to stand up and feel the way your feet feel in this environment. As you feel your feet, you can play around with balancing, with getting playful with your feet, maybe wiggling your toes a little bit. Yeah, just exploring with the way it feels to be in this environment. Maybe you're looking around and you're imagining this little pond area makes me think of night swimming. So you might see different fish moving or the elements of the stones, and just start to play with the way your feet feel and the way it might feel to imagine yourself immersing them in water. Yeah. We start to show up with our feet and we're more present with ourselves. So as we imagine the way our feet are feeling and the way it feels to be here and just connecting with our toes and the soles of our feet, and also invite you to do a very small exercise where we look down and think about a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh is a Vietnamese monk, and he writes a lot about mindfulness, and he has a retreat center called Plum Village. And I love Thich Nhat Hanh's quote that says, "When I walk, I am kissing the earth with my feet." So you might even want to take a couple of steps. I don't know how much space you have, but see what happens when you take a few steps inside of your VR environment and play with kissing the earth with your feet, right? So I'm looking down, feeling that sense of gratitude for my feet and the amount that they do for me. Just putting that gratitude back to my body and my feet and how much they carry me. And I'm kissing the earth with my feet. Here we're in a space where the earth has some moss associated with it. You can see the moss sort of gathering on the floor and also on this on the stones around us. And so often we're moving through life, and there's that quote, "The rolling stone gathers no moss." And I think about the Japanese tradition. We're in a Japanese house here and a garden, and the Japanese have a saying that says that the moss is sacred. Like, to be still with yourself enough to gather some moss is something to appreciate. So if for you this has been perhaps a year of stillness, or a year where you felt you were gathering moss, maybe take a moment to take stock and to honor that the moss is part of the journey, and that we can connect with those elements that sometimes come out when we are still and we are present and we're aware of ourselves. So I'm appreciating what it means to just be here in the space. And yeah, as we're here in this space together, you might now want to just let yourself feel a freedom to appreciate the movement that you have too, like the movement in your body, the ability that you have to tune into one thing, maybe with the wonder of intentional attention, and then let yourself recognize it, and also drop back from that awareness to recognize the whole scene and celebrate that gestalt of seeing something for greater than the parts. You can zoom in with your focus, and you can also zoom out. So at this point, I'm going to be quiet for a couple of minutes and just let you play and let the music animate the way that you're playing in this environment. So as you start to notice the environment in different ways, and as you start to feel yourself maybe appreciating something at a deeper level, maybe that awareness just leads you to be curious in a different way when we allow ourselves to slow down. In VR, that's one of my appreciations, that I can start to notice things like the falling petals on the tree, or the sound that sounds like cicadas to me. And right now, what I'm playing with here is a diamond that is something I can drop in and use at any point. If you can see it, I can use this diamond to really make it something visible of my mindfulness breathing. So before we jump to a different spot, we're going to be moving to actual outer space setting where we can play with the overview effect. And someone has brought in crystals. I absolutely love this amethyst. There's magic everywhere, right? If we look for it. So just inviting you, just as astronauts plan for going into outer space, as we plan to do another movement into an experience, let's just see if we can all tune in to have our breath model this diamond. So I'm going to be moving it into, let's see, I'm going to inhale, let it fill my lungs deeply, feel that turn of the breath as I exhale, and just let out any kind of tension, and feel that inhale a second time. And you can go at your own pace or follow the diamond. I'm going to hold for a count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to exhale really slowly for a count of 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to inhale for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4, and let the air fill my lungs, and hold for 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale for 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can keep breathing like that. I practice mindful breathing and work that into different sessions because what I was showing was just a little mini of a 4-7-8 breathing pattern. You can slowly regulate your breath, and that's a great way to come back to yourself and just quickly feel grounded, acclimated. The breath is a wave that we ride, and in poetry, it's also an in-breath and an out-breath. They say that Shakespeare made his iambic pentameter based on the length of a human breath, so that you could be on stage and say those lines and then take a breath in between. So what does it feel like when we give ourselves a greater chance to breathe and be present and actually show up with ourselves? I feel that intense energy from this whole group. So right now, in perfect time, just as it is, I'm just going to invite you to maybe imprint, just looking around. Just decide to take 1 or 2 things into your mind that you appreciate, that you want to bring with you and remember, so that you can recall this space back anytime you like. Okay. Yeah, it's the extraordinary and the ordinary that we're celebrating here together. As I look at the falling petals. Okay, so I am going to be taking us to, you've all been chosen for an astronaut program, which means that we all have unique gifts to offer, and we're part of this team together going to the Apollo moon landing, right? We've been chosen, so just get ready. In your body, you're going to have the screen fade to dark, and then we will be in our outer space venue. Okay, so we're taking all those elements of nature and the earth and that deep appreciation and going into the overview effect. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Seeing everybody come in to this one spawn point, I cannot believe it. This view is pretty amazing, seeing people drop in. Wow. All right. Feel free. This is a complete space of freedom. Maybe our job is to explore, and as we explore, to think about the idea of reporting back our things. What is it like to be out here, feeling, exploring, sensing, getting curious with our bodies, and also with the way it feels to be here on the moon. Yeah, so the overview effect is about that sense of wonder when you place your attention on what surrounds us, and also just riding the waves of what your thoughts might be in this moment. Whatever's coming, just inviting that deep appreciation, and also that curiosity that's unscripted. What's coming up in the moment to inspire you? Yeah, so right now you can walk around, you can explore the crater. We're going to have a meditation, and for me, meditation means it can be movement, it can be looking at planet Earth and just marveling as the astronauts do about that overview effect of wonder. It can be a breathing practice where you focus on a crater. So I'm just going to be playing some music softly in the background, which means you could decide if you want to dance, if you want to stand still, if you want to, basically, the whole journey is up to you. It's about 3 minutes. Here we go. Our theme is connection. just place an intention for yourself. I'm going to summon us back together just for a close. So just know you will be coming back together in a moment. Okay. Yes, I know we're all we're all together here. So just I wanted to thank everybody. This is the end of the hour together. We can stay, we can play, you can share your thoughts. I believe we'll be unmuting people in a moment. So if you want to share some thoughts, takeaways, or come up and talk, you know how to keep in touch with me. And as always, I am so grateful for everybody who's been part of this journey right now together. We made it to the outer atmosphere. We are here together. And a big thanks to educators in VR, to Virtual World Society, to Daniel Dybowski-Bryant for running the introduction and the session together, and for, gosh, the world. I just feel super grateful. Hooray. Yeah, we made it.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Caitlin.
you.
Everybody, I'm going to switch on spatial audio, so feel free to unmute yourself, but you might want to spread out a little bit to have more private conversations. I'm also going to switch names back on, so you can kind of recognize who is next to you.
That's great. And if people want to unmute yourself right now and just say a few words about how this experience felt for you, what it was like as we share together before we break off into mini conversations, feel free to do that as well, so that we hear some of your reflections together. Thank you
Yeah,
so
I
much.
have a connection that I kind of want to share. Is I was trying to meditate and look at this like light beam, and then I stopped and I looked around, and I don't know if it's the same for other people on different headsets, but I'm on the Quest 2, and without the names, everybody looked the same, and it made me realize at the end of the day, if you strip it all away, we're all humans, and to think every little astronaut bobbing around is a human being, it just
Yeah.
it was really momental for me. Like, it was something that I'll always remember for the rest of my life, I think.
Oh my
Than to
gosh,
see
really?
everybody just moving around, and I'm like, well, humans.
I got goosebumps in that moment. I was coming up and dancing with different people, and I had goosebumps. So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks. Any other thoughts people feel like sharing? Feel free to tell your story. I hear Video Girl. Hi, Video Girl. I saw you. Hi. Great. How are
Anyone
you
else want to
doing?
ride?
I'm doing
Oh,
great.
Go, Caitlin.
it's so good to have you here. Wow.
Thank you. I've always wanted to go to the moon. Now I can say I have.
Yep. We have a great astronaut crew here today. That's for sure. Strength together. Captain Neil. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. Who thought we were floating in space before, and now we're on a planet together? This is amazing.
Yeah.
We're on a moon.
With a whale.
Yep. Wow.
Wow.
Oh wow. This is great. I'm taking pictures.
This is amazing.
Yes. Sage, absolutely.
I feel like the queen. I'm just like,
I'm gonna.
there we go.
Ooh. Hang on one sec.
Waiting for the third rider.
Yeah. I'll come close to you. Yeah. Let's. Sage, thank you so much. I'm taking you on megaphone. There you go. We can hear you.
Okay, I can. Caitlin, you're creating wonder for all of us. In fact, what you're doing is you're sparking creativity, or curiosity, rather. Curiosity is the word I was looking for. It's the one thing that really causes me to learn. A lot of people learn through curiosity. But this is great. I wanted to say that I'm fascinated by your facets of wonder. And I feel like I've been experiencing that surfing wonder recently. There's something about it's kind of a bit kismet. It is kind of the alignment of where I'm at in life and my background and my skills, and then what I've started to encounter in VR. is transforming me, and I feels like, and it's kind of bending my mind a little bit too.
Yeah,
but
you're in the flow. Yeah.
But that wonder, I just want to say that when I experienced that Alice in Wonderland last week,
Sure.
that is where I kind of I saw a real example of that really play out. Also in the Engage platform too, but that interactive mind challenge tied with literature is extraordinary. So I just wanted to compliment you on that too.
Thank you. Yeah, Sage is talking about a WebXR environment that I built with the Science VR team. So, I mean, this application of wonder, there we were going into Lewis Carroll's logic puzzles, and it sounds to me, wonder can be very involved with mathematics and with logic and with sense and sensibility. You start to see a way of unpuzzling things that has to do with delight. So that word delight is always kind of one of those energetic. Lewis Carroll used a lot of delight to make sense of things, and then to kind of flip things upside down and say, oh, what's it like this way? And Sage, I appreciate you mentioning that, because there's a through line, right? We can be in immersive headset, we could be in WebXR, we could be in different kinds of qualities of these applications and use wonder in different ways. And I sense a liberation for the learners when that happens.
Okay. There's plenty of room.
Here we go.
Sure. Is that Mitch? Let me see if, yeah, wonderful. Yeah, no, I would love that. Let me see if I'm moving you onto a non-spatialized audio so I can hear you. Beautiful.
Thank you. So last year, when we were all having such an unusual time on that lovely place up there, I had an interesting experience with my 8-year-old daughter and VR. And so to make a long story short, each year we have an event at a primary school where it's the Father's Day camp out, and we pitch tents on the sports ground, and all the kids and their fathers get to have this fun event at the school. Well, they couldn't do it, so everybody was in their backyards and everybody was on their balconies if they're living in apartments, which is my case. And we did, as many schools did, we made some kind of video online version of the whole event. It was really good, actually, but the thing that was the cornerstone, or the crown of it, was the guy who was organizing it. He linked us all up with an app which showed us the position of the International Space Station as it moved across the sky, and we could basically go outdoors. It was a beautiful night in Melbourne, where I'm from in Australia, and we could see it moving across the sky. And we're waiting. We had this little app with our phones. We're waiting to see it go across. And then we saw it. It took about a minute to cross the sky. And then straight away afterwards, I was able to take my daughter inside and put her actually inside the VR version of the International Space Station. And, just to see her really there, just to see her making the connection between something that's in the sky, a light that's moving across the sky, and then she goes to visit it. Incredible. And she looks down on Earth, and she's, you could see her 8-year-old mind going, wow. Anyway, it really renewed my interest in space altogether. And I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but you can go and stand on the surface of Mars. It's been released in the last couple of months from Perseverance, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We are so incredible.
It's like creating
anyway,
it.
Thanks for listening.
You took me there with your daughter, because it's kind of creating a new frame and a new context. And I mean, we could deconstruct, and the neuroscience of it. Our brain feels a greater sense of connection when we place ourselves in new environments and give that type of that type of immersion and connection actually means that later we will remember it more viscerally and have a meaning that we place upon it, as opposed to like reading about it or having a static picture.
Yeah, so true.
It's really great to use brain science to kind of inform how we're making this learning come alive for people.
So we have a memory
coupled with reflection. Yeah.
We have a shared memory. So, if I'm reading her a book to go to sleep at night or something, she'll say, "Hey, Dad, do you remember when we saw the space station in the sky?" And so it's true what you say. It's kind of deep. It's deeply embedded in her memory as a real moment of wow.
Yeah. And how can we give
incredible.
ourselves the safety, right? Like if we're afraid going into that, then our brain can't ride the wave of that wonder. But if we create the safety as the first like ground, then all kinds of experiences can come alive. So thank you for sharing that. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us today for a Designing Wonder experience through the metaverse. We started on a seaside cliff by the ocean, just exploring what it means to ride the waves of our senses, following mindfulness and designing wonder, and the many facets of wonder that really apply to our experiences inside and out in connection. We went from there to a garden space to really try out some of the experiential journey with each other in community. And then we came here to the moon to experience the overview effect and what it's like to see wonder through the lens of an astronaut looking at planet Earth. If you'd like to find out more about wonder and experiential design, please get in touch with me at caitlinkrause.com. You can also find more resources there, the book, and ways to design sessions for yourself and your communities. Also, a huge thanks today to Educators in VR and to the Virtual World Society for making this event possible, and to Carlos Austin for filming the event. You can find out more in the comments about ways to get in touch with us. Today, we've experienced wonder inside and out, and our imaginations prove that the sky is no longer the limit. We can take these experiences to new levels. Thank you very much.